Hello, Jordan Burris here. Would you like to hear an original song? Many years ago, I was leaving a rehearsal with a friend and fellow songwriter in East Nashville. I was driving down Woodlawn Avenue on my way to my favorite smoky nightclub, the Douglas Corner Cafe on 8th Avenue. As I made my way through an intersection, somebody ran a red light and crashed into the driver's side door of my car at an accelerated speed. My car rolled to a stop and I sat stunned for a moment, carefully sweeping the broken glass off of my lap. A young man approached my window to check on my condition. "I thought you were going to need an ambulance, man. Are you okay?" he asked. And aside from a sore neck, I was. We checked on the condition of the other driver, and physically they were okay as well. So I filled out the proper paperwork with the authorities and made my way back to my apartment. The next morning, as was my habit, I sat cross-legged on my bedroom floor with my guitar planted in my lap. As I relived the incident in my head, the palpable irritation that my car was totaled gave way to an attitude of gratitude that I was okay. I took the incident as affirmation that I still had work to complete here on earth, and until I was done, God would keep his hands of protection upon me. I began to repeat the line, "God has got his hands on me," over and over again, with my hands muting the strings of my guitar. When I finally released my hand and let a G chord ring, the words to the song came tumbling out. The song came out complete in one pass. I never wrote the lyrics down in my composition notebook. The song was just there. Words, music, structure. The song entered the room and never left. As someone who has spent a lot of time writing songs, I can attest that sometimes they seem to fall from the sky. With your inner narrator sharpened to process ideas, beliefs, and experiences, on occasion the song will seem to write itself. However, I do not believe that to be the case with this song. To be sure, the hurried arrival of the song could be credited to a well-practiced songwriter with all the tools to process an emotional experience quickly. It's not as though the music or the lyrics to the song are in any way groundbreaking or even that challenging to play. The song itself is mostly an amalgam of biblical texts, gospel references, and bluegrass instrumentation. But to dismiss or explain away the experience would be to miss the point of the gift. An extraordinary experience occurred, and to me, the song, as well as the experience, are a bit of blessed assurance. Does it serve my ego to believe that my very purpose on earth is so consequential that God himself must reach his hand down to protect me from a random car accident on a random Tuesday in a random city? Perhaps. But I choose to not look at it about myself and more about the song. I've now performed the song for a number of years, and every time I do, somebody comes up to me and says that it meant something to them, that it offered them a bit of the blessed assurance that it offered me, that it was right what they needed to hear at that moment. That is not me. That is God working through me. In exchange for my 1996 sedan that my parents bought me in college, God gifted me this song to perform. It is not mine. I am merely the caretaker, and happy to be called to do so. And here is a rendition of the song. I hope you enjoy it. This is entitled, "God Has Got His Hands on Me." Well, God has got his hands on me. God has got his hands on me. And he leads me up when I get driven to my knees. God has got his hands on me. Well, narrow is the way that leads from dark to light. Narrower it will be when and if your soul ain't right. Put it to the maker who took the dust of bone. Never will you ever have to suffer all alone. Give him your burden, true, true, true. Let him get his hands on you. Well, God has got his hands on me. God has got his hands on me. And he leads me up when I get driven to my knees. God has got his hands on me. Well, I know my line in life is faulted by my fear, but in the midst of shadows I know he follows near, keeping an eye upon me like a builder does his clay, making sure that I never, ever, ever go